Welcome back to the Sovereign Ratio. Bitcoin. What FUD? It simply flexes off the bad news from the SEC throwing lawsuits at Binance and Coinbase and calling a bunch of other altcoins securities. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and hit the like button. So what caused this? Well, a person could argue that it's indicators, it's TA, it's psychology, it's FUD from the SEC suing Binance and Coinbase. Honestly, it's a combination of a lot of things. And we're going to take a little deep dive into that right now, starting with the news with the SEC. So it's no secret that the SEC and Gary Gensler have been under a lot of scrutiny lately, particularly by the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, for issuing a ton of Wells notices and really doing nothing to further the progression of crypto in the United States, while China completely onboards crypto while we have our own internal battles. A couple weeks ago, we posted a video on this channel of Gary Gensler being basically interrogated by the House of Representatives on why he has failed to introduce legislation that determines whether cryptocurrency, besides Bitcoin, is a commodity or a security. We saw Representative McHenry drill him, and among others in the House of Representatives, to come up with some sort of answer as to why there's been no meaningful progress, no meaningful legislation into just making this happen for the betterment of the United States of America. In the last couple of days, there's been a lot of positivity in the market, from Apple introducing its AR/VR headset, and a lot of gaming and metaverse projects really starting to shine as far as on the charts and the price of the asset is concerned, like VR, Victoria VR, Wilder World, etc. There's been a lot of good feeling about that until all of a sudden, boom, we get news that the SEC is suing Coinbase for selling unregistered securities, is suing Binance for selling unregistered securities, and is trying to seize its complete US Treasury wallet. Not only that, it's really important to note how ridiculous this lawsuit is. SEC sues largest US crypto exchange Coinbase for selling unregistered securities. Back when Coinbase had its initial public offering, the SEC had to approve that Coinbase was a legitimate enough business to have an initial stock offering. Or how can a government regulator not do enough research to... Like, they should already know that if they feel that Coinbase is selling unregistered securities, they should not approve Coinbase for an initial public offering. Like, the SEC has already given Coinbase the clear to operate in the United States. Not only that, the Coinbase is so confident in their position in this, they have come out on video on YouTube with Brian Armstrong and a lawyer sitting right next to each other saying, SEC, if you want to sue us, bring it on, because we have more than enough to take your lawsuit down. We're happy to take you on. We're happy to do this. And the SEC still continues legal action against Coinbase. It's absurd. Like, Coinbase has the confidence that they can take care of any situation that comes up with the SEC. You'd think that Gary Gensler would go, oh, they must know something. Gary Gensler's an idiot. Gary Gensler's an absolute idiot. So I can't even stand to look at this stuff anymore. And clearly, people that are invested in Bitcoin and believe in cryptocurrency and other altcoins, they're tired of it too. It's like, you know what? It's just more crap in the news. I'm not doing anything. I'm just holding. I'm holding and waiting for the next bull run that's going to start in 2024. Let me just briefly summarize it. This guy and Elizabeth Warren are being paid by big corporate banks, and they have a hidden agenda to keep crypto from coming into prominence in the United States. There's no other reason for this, because crypto is a technology revolution. It's a different look on energy in general, and it's a net positive for the entire world. Why would someone want to keep it out of the United States' jurisdiction whenever we could have it in the entire world? The United States be a forefront leader in that revolution into digital currency. But instead, we want to just be very coy with our answers, act like a clown, and issue Wells notices all over the place. I have good news. The reason this is happening is because they're getting desperate. They know that the people that are invested in cryptocurrency The people that believe in cryptocurrency, like you, like me, we're not giving up. We're not selling our positions. We're holding. We're waiting. We're waiting for results. We're seeing results. We're seeing this transformative process occur in technology, going from a piece of paper that can be infinitely printed to a finite digital asset that is better than the existing gold that we have. And they're scared. They don't know what to do. So what do? Well, you throw a bunch of lawsuits out there. Cardano's a security. Polygon's a security. Filecoin's a security. Sandbox is a security. Decentraland's a security. That's exactly what they've been doing. And now they're trying to freeze Binance's US assets, the entire wallet, just based off of selling unregistered securities. So basically with that logic, what I can do is I can just say, hey, you know what? This remote control that controls my neon sign, this is a security. So I guess I need to have this remote regulated because the initial offering for this remote was in the United States. I don't know what, like, that's the basis they're using for everything. Like Cardano, the initial coin offering was in Japan. How can something be a US security when the initial coin offering happened in another country? This is really like a Hail Mary at its finest. So let's just read this from the article. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued crypto exchange Binance, the operating company for Binance.us, and Binance founder and CEO CZ on allegations of violating federal securities laws on Monday. Binance US, and CZ offered unregistered securities to the general public in the form of BNB and Binance-linked BUSD stablecoins, said the suit, which also alleges that Binance's staking service violated securities law. There are similar charges against BAM Trading, the operating company for Binance.us, and Binance itself. Let's go on down here. These are all of the coins that they are naming are securities. First is Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Matic, Cody, Algorand, Filecoin, Cosmos, Sandbox, Axie Infinity, Decentraland, Mana. Just off that list, look how high the market cap valuation is on all those coins. Clearly, like, they cannot all be securities. I guess technically they could, but we've already proven that Cardano is not a security. It fails the Howey test. The initial coin offering was not in the United States. All these others, they're just taking the biggest names that people know in the crypto space, which, again, 99% of the world doesn't even know these names. But as far as the 1% that do, the biggest names in the crypto space, minus maybe Cody and Algorand, everybody knows these names. Like, these are big altcoins. These also happen to be some of the most promising altcoins in the entire space. I'm not a huge Solana fan, but I am a gigantic Cardano, Polygon, Cody, Filecoin fan. I guess I'm not really a fan of the others, but these are some of the biggest promising projects in the entire space. Really glad they didn't name Chainlink, because Chainlink is like the one coin that you can't get rid of besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, in my personal opinion. But they've named Filecoin. Filecoin is an industry leader in what it does. It has some competitors like Arweave and Storage. There's nobody that's even close to Filecoin. Filecoin has an amazing potential for return in the next bull cycle. It's the leader in its niche, and they're just throwing stuff out there. It's a complete Hail Mary. The SEC is at a point where they're being controlled by banks. Elizabeth Warren is being controlled by banks. They're being paid by banks, and they have to do something to get people out of the crypto space, and it's not working. If we go and look at Bitcoin price, let's look at Bitcoin price. Yesterday, we had a candle that went from 27.4 to 25.4, $2,000 candle. Today, Bitcoin caught a bid and went straight back up to 27.4. Like, it actually surpassed the point which we fell yesterday. We fell around the 27.2, 27.1 area, and we've already reclaimed that. We're above it. This is a sign of the end of a bear market. When you have news like this, like the United States government is trying to seize Binance US's assets and freeze their wallet, and Bitcoin just goes, man, I'm just gonna go up 7%, 8%. I don't care. That's when you know that there's strength in the asset and that this bear market is slowly coming to an end, in my opinion. Let's look at this weekly candle on the Gaussian channel, right? This wick, that is the bottoming tail if I've ever seen one. You hear people talk about topping tails and all, Bitcoin's going to fall back down to 10K and all that. And they base that off of like, hey, this has got a topping tail on it. Look, so here's the topping tail that everyone said, oh, Bitcoin's going to 12K, or at least some people said Bitcoin's going to 12K. Look at that tail and look at the bottoming tail here. When Bitcoin goes back up before the median of the Gaussian channel, there's so much confluence here. Let's put the bull market support band on here. You've got the bull market support band. You've got my personal indicator, the silver cross band plus EMA9 that I created for my own use, which I have not published yet. If you want me to publish it, let me know and I'll consider publishing it. It does show like a silver cross. That was its intention. So if we get rid of the bull market support band, you can see the silver cross band that I created. We almost had that silver cross. With the way things are going right now, it seems like an inevitability unless there's a giant crash again. Anyway, I digress. So put the Lucid SAR back on. The Lucid SAR still has the plus sign above, but that definitely could change next week if we get that third pump that we've been looking for. I also want to look at this too. We're going to start at the 2-day and work our way up to the weekly chart. On the 2-day, let's go to the BBWP. The BBWP has completely bottomed, well, almost completely bottomed in recent days, in recent candles, I should say. The 3-day, it's very, very close to bottoming. On the 4-day, it's pretty much bottomed. It couldn't be closer to bottoming. On the 5-day, it has bottomed not too long ago, a few candles back. We're kind of waiting on resolution for this. On the weekly chart, it has bottomed. And generally, if you're familiar with this channel and you've researched the BBWP or you've seen it somewhere else, when the BBWP goes to the bottom of the channel, that means that the price window, consider the Bollinger Bands to be like a window of price, right? That means the window has contracted. And when something contracts, it becomes spring-loaded. Think of the Bollinger Bands are a spring. When that spring contracts, boom, in the split second, it can explode, and this volatility will expand to the upside. And when that happens, like 78 or 72% of the time, something like that, it follows the direction of the stochastic RSI, or the stochastic oscillator. So let's go back to the 2-day. We have BBWP that could potentially expand. We have stochastic RSI that is just crossing up. It hasn't closed yet, but it's just crossing up the D line. On the 3-day, we have the stochastic that is it looks like it wants to curve up, but we're not really sure yet. On the 4-day, we're at the bottom of the range, so at some point this is going to have to turn back up. On the 5-day, the stochastic, the K line has crossed up the D line on the 5-day. And then on the weekly, we've had a significant drop since that 31K top here. We've had a significant drop in a relatively short period of time on this weekly stochastic RSI. And it looks like it wants to cross too. If Bitcoin gets a little bit more upwards movement by the end of the week on Sunday, we could see a cross on that too. And the BBWP is all the way at the bottom. That would be a very, very large move if that were to occur. And the direction of the expansion followed the stochastic oscillator. So being here on the bottom, if Bitcoin were to curve up past the D line and the stochastic expanded, that would be a large move. Generally, those moves are like in the 40 to 50% range. And consequently, if you take that and you add like 40% on the current price action, that puts us right at my box here, right at 37K. Up here at 47K, I don't know if that would ever happen, but that is a possibility. That's kind of the box that I had marked off. But 37K is a good target for now. 40% puts us right about 37K. That would line up with the typical 3 peaks pattern that happens in bear market relief rallies. And it just makes sense. I'm not a bull. I know I sound like a bull. I sound like a fervent bull. Like, hey, Bitcoin's doing nothing but up. But that's not the case at all. I just strongly believe that Bitcoin has another leg up in it, especially this month. But if it does happen, it needs to happen by the end of June. So it needs to happen relatively quickly. And this momentum that we have off of this FUD bounce needs to continue. You know, I also want to put it out there. These alts have suffered. That announcement about these being a security has definitely caused suffering within the altcoins. This is Matic. It went down 11% yesterday. We've got a similar 11% move on Cardano as well. My speculation on it is that those are the coins to buy. The coins that are being named generally that kind of FUD drives the price down so low. And then the FUD always passes. It always passes in the long term. Maybe one of those coins, maybe two of those coins doesn't work out. If I had to guess, it would be probably Decentraland and Axie Infinity out of those two that were named. I'm not thinking there's going to be a lot of interest in those in the next bull run. But out of those are all those are good projects. Those are the coins are good projects. If it was me, I would consider capitalizing on the opportunity to buy them, or at least keep them in the back of your mind so that after the next Bitcoin run up, if we get it, that whenever we get closer to the halving, those are the ones that you look at, because those are all the ones that I personally have pegged, other than Chainlink, to be big movers and great projects in the future, both in the bull market and as far as utility is concerned. So ultimately, what I would say is stay the course. If you believe in Bitcoin, if you believe in the power of cryptocurrency, if you believe in its transformative nature and the impact that it's going to have in the world, stay the course. Make smart investment decisions. Maybe altcoins aren't the safest place to be right now. Maybe it's more Bitcoin. Maybe being out of the market is the safe place to be right now. But take all of this in and know that things are still on course. FUD is not going to stop the revolution from happening. FUD is not going to stop technological improvements. FUD is not going to stop the redistribution of energy in the form of digital currency. It's not going to stop any of that. They're going to keep trying. They're going to make it harder. And ultimately, it's not going to go anywhere. It's immutable. Everybody owns the right to access their own tokens when you self-custody. They can't take it away from you. The only way to take it away is to take away the internet. And if they were to do that, that would be a much bigger problem than just cryptocurrency at this point. So stay the course. Thanks for coming by. If you appreciate the video, found usefulness, or just enjoyed hanging out with me, please hit the comment button, leave me a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Please be safe in trading, especially with this potential third leg up, and we'll see you in the next video.